Welcome, Jenny.
Thank
you for coming along.
Who's Jenny? Jenny.
Yeah, thank you for coming along. So item 1, apologies. Have we any apologies?
We have Councillor Stuart Piper, Corinna Huxley and Pat Moore.
Okay, I've just been in a meeting with Peter Campbell, so I think Peter will be along as soon as he can.
I need to leave at 12:30. Sorry, Steve. I've got Marks and Spencer's food waste to pick up.
Oh, no worries, mate.
Oh,
Thank you.
hang on. Liz is trying to get in, but she says she can't remember the password. So there isn't one, is there? So hang on.
Who's trying to get in?
Anne-Marie.
Oh.
She just goes to the link in the email.
Just telling her that, Becky. Press link.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll carry on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Item 2, any declarations of interest in the meeting this evening?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Take that as a no then. Item 3, minutes. Have you all read the minutes, hopefully? And can I have a proposer for the minutes, please, unless there's an objection to them?
I'll propose.
Pat's proposed the minutes, and a seconder, please.
I will second it.
Thank you, Roshan. All in agreement with the minutes?
Yeah.
Thank you. No one against. Thank you very much. Item 4.
Sorry, can I just say something?
Yes.
She's emailed Dean to let us
I'm just replying now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Sorry,
Thank you.
Interrupt. Fine, thank you.
Right, item 4 is the neighbourhood plan, and I asked Jenny just to do a report and to come along and just to speak, just to give us an update on the neighbourhood plan. And obviously it's been quite affected by COVID, but there are, as you've seen in her report, you know, there is a proposal basically, and also in relation to the funding. So Jenny, over to you, if you just want to give us an update. Thank you.
Fine. As you say, the work has been. Here's Peter. The work has been hampered by COVID, and that's had a big impact on the way in which they operate. And I don't think we've seen the outcome of that yet. Some of the changes will be temporary, others will be permanent. The government has also been looking at planning policy. There are some changes which will impact on the neighbourhood plan. The biggest impact will come from the local plan, which is currently under review, because normally the neighbourhood plan would follow the local plan, and ours is still in that process of being reviewed. I've given you an outline of will be in the plan, and this is based on the advice from locality, which is the main body for advising on local plans, and we've started filling in some of the sections. A few of you have contributed to that, but what we don't have is a comprehensive document yet. We have various bits. We have a draft design. We have a draft front guidance for the conversion of shops to accommodation and for refurbishment of shops. One of the big pieces of evidence that we'll need to submit is on the conservation areas. And of course in Ramsgate we have, 3 conservation areas, big conservation areas. And I think it's several years ago that we actually carried, as volunteers, we carried out conservation area appraisals, submitted that to Historic England. The officer who was overseeing it, Rob Lloyd-Sweet, has been posted somewhere else. So nothing happened on that for some time. Historic England has now appointed consultants to finish off that piece of work. So they're looking at all of the surveys carried out by the volunteers, and they will complete the documentation. We actually met them today. There's a company called Alan Baxter and 3 consultants in the meeting today. One of them, Louise Dandy, was conservation officer for TDC some years ago, so she knows the area really well. They're much more proactive than their approach is much more proactive than I expected it to be. Lost my notes. Got them. They will link all of this, and they want to, as part of it, produce guidance for the owners of listed properties, which is something we badly need and something that we talked about within the planning group. There will be some community engagement, and that will probably be at the end of March, maybe into early April. It will lead into what could be a conservation management plan drawn up by TDC, which is another element that we need for the neighbourhood plan. So I think that's pretty much where we are at the moment. I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody's got any specific points that they want to raise.
Becky? Thank you,
Yes.
thank you, Jenny. Anyway, Becky. Yeah.
Thank you, Jenny. It's good to know. I actually surveyed section 4, which didn't include my house, strangely enough. It was Addington Street and St Augustine's and round the back. It was very interesting because I was with Tony, who lives down Addington Street, very knowledgeable. I agreed to write it up. I learned such a lot round there, and my document that we submitted was 12,000 words long. And I didn't even include Addington Street because I just run out of time. I had a week to do it. So it would be really lovely to see what comes back from all that volunteer and free input. I'd love to see what they made of it. I mean, we discovered some fascinating stuff: chimneys, coal hole covers, sort of the detail. The main thing we found was that our whole area and our historic is destroyed by street furniture, phone boxes, lamp posts, and parked cars just destroy the whole historic look. I don't know how we solved that, but yeah, quite enjoyed it. But it's good to see that work has finally been used in some way, shape or form, because I was beginning to think it was a waste of our time, but never mind.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's been very frustrating because it is an essential part of the neighbourhood plan evidence. They will also be looking at potential developments within those areas. So they've only just started work. They visited Ramsgate last week. They're very impressed by the town and the extent of its heritage. And this is going to be a core plank of the final neighbourhood plan. You can see that in my report I've suggested that we should be considering perhaps taking on consultancy advice for sections of it. We can get some advice from ACOM, which is the agency recommended by locality. Whether they will actually, we will actually look at consultants to write this up, I don't know. I think that's got to be a judgment that is made a bit later on, as it starts to come together.
Anybody else?
Steve?
Peter?
Yeah, I think you need a proposal to carry forward the £20,000 for the budget as a recommendation to the full council budget setting meeting. So I propose to carry forward the £20,000 for the neighbourhood plan use in the writing up the document, or consultants, or whatever the appropriate use of the monies is.
Yeah, I second that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are we all in favour of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Jenny, just to say to you that I've worked with Louise Dandy and found her very, very good. And yeah, actually, it'd be nice to see her again. She's, as you say, she lived in Ramsgate for quite a while. I think she was up near Abbott's Hill somewhere. I think in a listed building she lived there. But yeah, anyway, thank you, Jenny, for that.
Okay.
Very grateful, and let's see if hopefully we can work forward.
Yeah, I've got other things to do with my life, so it would be nice to get this, this done.
Well, it'd be good to get it finished, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Jenny.
Bye.
Thank you, Jenny.
Bye.
Goody good. Okay then, shall we move on to item 5, planning applications?
Thank you, Chairman. We've only got two this evening. The first one is number 3 Chatham Street, change of use of existing 6-bedroom dwelling to an HMO for up to 13 people, comprising of 9 bedrooms, including provision of refuse facilities to the rear of the property. This is called in by Councillors Green and Campbell. Thank you. Dean has got the plans.
Okay, so the screen should be loading shortly.
Yeah, it's loading.
Okay. So, as Eileen's just read out, there's the application. So this is in Chatham Street, as Eileen's just pointed out. So in the bottom right-hand corner, that's the building that we have. There are no external changes, obviously, because it's a HMO, so it's internal. So just to show the existing plans as they are, hopefully that's come up for you. So the rooms.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, Dean.
Thank you.
Does it come up?
Yeah,
No.
thank you.
Yeah.
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 I've
Oh
got
yeah, there it is.
Okay, perfect. So the top row on the left, the first floor, you'll see there's a large bedroom that will be divided up. So this is existing at the minute, and the other bedroom staying the same. The second row, where you've got the living and the dining room, they will be converted into 2 bedrooms. So it's 1 bedroom in each. And the kitchen will become the living and dining area. So I'll just show you the proposed plans. It should load now. There we go. Hopefully that should load in a sec. And they're also putting refuse storage at the back on the terrace. Just give it a couple of seconds.
Oh.
Is that loaded for you?
Yes, thank you, Dean.
Okay, so yeah, you can see that one large bedroom at the top where it's been divided into the 2, and then the living and the dining on the proposed ground floor where they've put 2 bedrooms in. So they're the changes really, so council to consider.
Well, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, it just seems total overcrowding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's it's just totally unsuitable, to be quite honest, for living spaces.
Yeah. Well, I called this in along with Councillor Green. Is Councillor Green present tonight?
No.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
that's a shame. I mean, I've got to take issue with him when he says that he makes a statement that Ramsgate Thanet District Councillors are negligent in not dealing with this overcrowding issue. Well, I think he should know, because he's experienced enough to know that we haven't got the authority to, in his terms, deal with it. I did a couple of 3 years ago oppose a large HMO, the redevelopment of, I think it was called the Nelson Public House in Margate Road by the viaduct. I turned up at
Derby Arms.
Derby Arms, that's it, you got it. Convinced the planning committee to oppose it and reject it. The developers of the HMO appealed. They won the case and fined Thanet District Council £15,000. The reality is that this type of development, although I believe, as I called it in, is overdevelopment, the government give carte blanche for this type of development. If the planning committee decides to reject it, or the planners decide to reject it, it will be appealed, and Thanet District Council will lose. That's the experience I've encountered, and they'll be fined as well. So I don't know where we go. I do believe it is overdevelopment. There is no parking spaces. There's no cycle racks. It lacks all the amenities. There's no amenity space. It lacks all the common amenities that should be in place for this type of development for 13 individuals. So I do oppose it, but I doubt very much whether or not the planning committee will reject it, simply because of the vulnerable position that the government puts, through the planning inspectorate, puts on councils that reject this type of application.
Just so you know, Peter, the members know, I've already called this into TDC planning, and to counteract Councillor Green's views, I also called one in multiple occupation, which was along the Margate Road above the shops there, and we turned that down. The committee turned it down. There are issues in relation to it, and whether there are any other multiple occupancies within 100 metres. So that does come into the consideration. Yeah. But I still think if we think that it is bad for the area and it is the wrong type of development and the issues that it will cause, then we must stick to our guns. In my opinion.
Okay.
Sorry. I've lost my screen for some reason.
Can I speak, Councillor?
Yes, please, Pat. Yes.
Yeah. I believe that. There is an HMO at 77 High Street, which I don't believe is registered, but it is an HMO. So that is within the area that ought to, of this. That's the first thing. The second thing is an HMO of 13 people needs to have some sort of warden or manager.
No.
At least to take the bins out. Who's going to take the bins out? Which I presume are on the first floor terrace at the back. Mm-hmm. And the other one is there has to be a certain amount of kitchen space for this number, and I don't believe there is enough. But the planners will know all this. Yes. TDC planners will know all this anyway, and hopefully can turn it down on some of these practical grounds.
Yeah.
Could I speak, Steve?
Sorry, who's that? Yeah. I can't see.
Councillor Wing, Becky.
Oh yes, Becky. Please.
I think it's. I can only count one big bathroom and 2 toilets.
Yeah.
So 13 people vying for toilets and bathrooms in the morning, and it looks as if I can only see 2 at the bottom of my screen. Maybe there's 3, but I come from a family of 6. We were always scrabbling over the toilets, the one toilet we had. So I don't think there's enough of a bathroom area there. We can object if we think we're going to lose it. Then can't we object to the splitting of the room on the top and advise them that they should be putting more toilet and shower facilities in there for 13 people? Let's imagine 13 people have partners. That's 26 people in one building.
Yeah, absolutely, Becky. Absolutely agree. Thank you. Anybody else?
Can I just say?
Yes, please.
Sorry, it's Pat Dickinson again. The building has only recently been done up, and it looks to be in quite good nick. So I don't know why they don't turn it into flats. They say it's one dwelling at the moment. Apparently it's let as an Airbnb. It's across the road from me. I don't know whether that's an interest. No. So, and I know not the immediate neighbours, but the one after. It's ridiculous. And as Becky said, there are not enough. There's nothing on the top floor. No toilets, no kitchen, nothing on the top floor. And there could be 6 people in there, judging by the number of pillows.
Yeah. Okay, so Is there anybody else want to speak on this? No. Okay. Then proposal is for refusal on the grounds of overdevelopment, lack of toilet and cleaning facilities, and shower facilities, and issues in relation to waste within its location and for its disposal. So are you all in favour? Can I have a seconder for that, please?
Yes, I second it.
Thank you. Okay, so are we all in agreement? The refusal?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Next one, please, Eileen.
Thank you.
Sorry
The
to
next-
interrupt, it's Anne-Marie here. Can you hear me? It's just I've had to join on my laptop and I don't have a camera and I don't know if my microphone works.
I can hear you, Anne-Marie, yes.
That's lovely. Then fine, thank you.
Thank you. 192 Newington Road. This is the erection of a side extension with roof extension forming a gable end together with first floor flat roof rear dormer and insertion of roof lights within front elevation to facilitate loft conversion into habitable space. Called in by Chairman of the committee.
What?
Reason, effect on neighbours. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, give it a couple of seconds just to load. Hopefully you'll have the writing in front of you in a sec.
Yeah, the writing's there.
Okay, perfect. Right, so you've got the aerial shot, so it's just between Stirling Way and Newington Road. It's that house on the corner in the bottom left, and that on the right, bottom right, is my attempt of the extension coming out. So we go to the plans. Okay, give it a second, and you should have the existing layout of the building.
I know this well.
So the existing plan in the middle of the top row, that will be
Not up yet.
Okay,
I haven't got
that's
it
fine.
on the screen yet, Dean.
Okay, no worries.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, perfect. So the middle drawing of the existing roof, so if you imagine that the extension will come out to that jutted out bit and will go back as well for the to the conservatory, so it's going to extend out and go up into the roof. So I'll just give you the proposed plans.
Sorry, I lost my signal there for some reason.
Okay, well you'll see the difference as soon as it changes, so it's going out and back. So they're basically extending the roof out and putting an extension there to accommodate bedrooms in the roof, in the loft. So committee to consider.
Yeah, sorry, Dean, I haven't seen any of that. I lost connections. Sorry about that. But and I've still, it looks like I've got a very weak connection for some reason. It's playing about. Okay, anybody got any?
Well, it looks all right to me, I've got to be honest. You've got down effect on neighbours. Which neighbours does it affect, Steve?
Yeah, well, at the time, Peter, to be honest, I hadn't looked at the application. I just looked at it. I didn't know it was an end. That it was two bungalows joined together. And it wasn't until I've just seen it I knew where it was. So, but if I just wanted to make sure there was no effect on the neighbours.
There seems to be no objection as far as I'm concerned.
Anybody else?
No, me. No objection.
No. Okay then. So we have no comment on that. You all
No.
agreed on no comment?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's the end of that item. Thank you very much, everybody. The last item is Town Clerk report. Eileen, do you have anything to say on behalf of our Town Clerk?
I don't, Chairman. Thank you.
just to say, just one thing before we go, that we've got the Ramsgate town team, the Ramsgate High Street bid. There is a meeting next week, I believe.
Friday.
This week,
It's
Friday.
Friday.
Sorry, it's Friday. Is it? Sorry, one day rolls into the next. I don't know where we are. Okay, Friday. So hopefully all those who've been invited can attend, and let's have our say and let's give it some oomph.
All members invited.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
and I've got to give my apologies, as I said to you, Peter. I can't do it because I haven't had enough notice.
Yeah, well, we accept that, Jane. Not everybody can attend. The problem was arrange a meeting with TDC's chief executive and officers, and also Ramsgate town councillors. I just had to accept a meeting date at the time they gave me.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's just one of those things.
Hopefully, I've asked the town clerk to organise minutes of the meeting, which is published to all members who can't attend.
Thank you, Peter.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, look forward to seeing you all in, and thank you ever so much for attending this evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening.